Welcome to Your Wise Self with Sara, the podcast that invites you to embark on a journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. Thank you for joining me, Sara, as I explore the profound wisdom within each of us, waiting to be uncovered and embraced. I'm so pleased today to welcome my guest, Elsewine Rietveld, an amazing author and speaker, and we're going to learn so much from her today. Elsewine is a former deer in the headlights when it comes to making videos and speaking in public. She was so terrified to record her first video that she walked straight out of the room. Over time, she has found an effective method on how to get comfortable on camera. She has created the Confidence Creation Framework, a proven method with exercises for body, mind, and energy. Since 2013, Elsewine has been training professionals to speak with confidence in conversations, presentations, and on video. She has worked with CEOs, managers, and employees from a number of companies, including KPMG, KLM, TNO, Deloitte, other local governments, and close to 1,000 business owners. Her happy place is on top of the Swiss mountains, admiring the stunning view from above after a steep climb. Welcome, Elsewine.
Hi, thank you, Sara. I'm so happy to be here.
I want to take a moment to first thank you for being here because I know you're over in the Netherlands. So we have about a 7-hour time difference as we're recording this. So it's a late evening for you after you just got done with a long hike today.
I did actually, and we had some sun, which was really nice.
I'm so pleased that our paths crossed. I jumped into a networking group called We Meet Wednesday. And you were one of the very first people that I met and was immediately drawn to you, to your work, and went and bought your book. And was so excited to bring you on the podcast today to share your wisdom and your expertise. I think so many people can learn so much from you. Tell us about yourself and your background and how you came to be a part of this confidence building training.
The journey starts around my studies, the time when I was a student. And I had to stand in front of the classroom and 99 pairs of eyes were just staring at me. And in that moment, I just got a disconnect between my brain and my mouth. And I don't know what I said. It was like a very uncomfortable feeling. And at the same time, I realized, it would be good to get more comfortable with this, not only during my studies, but then during my work, there will probably be more situations where I will be in a room with more than 3 or 4 people at a time. The first thing I did was find a training to work on that, get better. I signed up for the debating club, sat on the bench for 4 weeks straight, too scared to step up still. But then I took the plunge and actually that made the first change for me. So I got more used to speaking in front of audiences and I actually met my husband in our sister club from the debating. Debaters are very good listeners. People always joke, oh, that will be very nice at your kitchen table. Well, actually it is because we listen and we can substantiate why we feel certain things. So that was my first step to get more in front of the audience. But debating is, I don't know if you know about debating, but you're just given a motion. Like, for example, in England, or even in the Netherlands, we should abolish the king and queen and just become a republic. You are in front, you are against. There you go. So regardless of your own opinion, you start the debate. It's a wonderful training, but it's a very different thing if you stand in front of an audience talking about your own topic, your own research, your own message.
I think that is just amazing and also so relatable because so many people have this fear of public speaking. And I think for me, especially what drew me to you and your work is that it's not just about being on the camera necessarily. It's confidently speaking your message when I'm on my podcast or when I'm having to present something at work. Even though I am in my late 40s and I have a lot of experience with it, I still feel like there's ways that we can do better or become more confident or that my mouth doesn't go dry or I feel like I'm going to say something wrong or that type of thing. I just think that it's such a great attribute to be able to share with people some ways that they can build confidence in speaking.
And what you just described is what's happening to me. I created a training on stress and burnout prevention. I had studied kinesiology and other topics. I still felt uncomfortable. Like you said, oh, do I say the wrong things? I had trouble sleeping before my trainings, even though people said, you're very good taking a complicated matter and explain it very simple for us. So I did a lot of training. And then I came to the point that I thought, let's create an online course so I can help more people for a reduced price. They're happy. I'm happy. Let's do this. But in front of the camera, I borrowed the tripod and I set up the camera and I walked out of the room. I was too scared to just even press record. It wasn't even live. I was just recording, but I couldn't get myself to recording. It felt like these 99 pairs of eyes were there, but amplified. I was so scared. Can I do something about it? Somehow, at the same time, this came on my path, was a training which was called Feminine Presence, with a module on camera confidence and a whole module around how to do videos, practical things as well, integrated with the feminine presence. So that piqued my interest. And I then signed up for the first course and I just loved it. Things started to shift for me, finally, to real confidence. And even at home practicing, my husband made me more compliments, but I'm not really doing anything more than just becoming more myself, becoming more present. When I was speaking to people listened more. People came to me networking where I usually would go around the room saying, hi, how are you? Suddenly people were sort of noticing me. This presence thing was activated. And I was so wowed by this. There was an opportunity to become a trainer in this method as well. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to integrate this with my kinesiology, speech therapy, which is what I studied at the time, and debating, and bring everything together and make it into the confidence creation framework, what I work with now.
What I'm gathering is that you're taking all of this information, your own experience, your education, and you're taking something that feels very unnatural for people to help it become very natural for them so that it feels like a conversation, whether they're talking to one person or 100 people, or they're talking to a camera. I have this experience quite often that I will have a lot of people that I record for my work. It's really interesting to me to watch the dynamic of somebody that I'll just be sitting there, we'll be practicing a role playing, and the second the camera goes on, it's like they turn into a different person, including myself. It seems maybe a little bit robotic, or it feels like not naturally being myself. So again, back to my point of why I was drawn to your book called Get Comfortable on Camera, and why I feel this information can be really helpful. And you talk about your training is all related to mind, body, energy, which all relates back to why I'm passionate about this podcast and sharing messages with people around energy and mindfulness.
I want to let you in on a secret. When you have to speak to a larger audience, you are actually speaking to one person only, because you stand on the stage and let's say there's 150 people in the room. It feels like you are speaking to 150 people. But actually, if you shift the attention to the audience, everyone sitting in a chair is just sitting there as themselves. They have 2 ears and 2 eyes. That's it. They're not 150 amplified. It's just one person a lot of the times. If you make it more conversational and really imagine you're just speaking to one person, that makes it so much easier. And that mindset shift helped me so much. And I've talked about this to many clients who said, wow, it takes away the massiveness of things because everyone is just sitting in the chair and they're just listening as the one person that they are.
You overcame these great challenges. You educated yourself, you trained yourself, you boosted your own confidence, and decided to write a book on it. So tell me a little bit about that inspiration to write the book.
It's basically twofold. One, of course, is that I used to struggle so much with going on camera. And I know the difference that it makes already years ago, but specifically now in these days of AI. And I know AI for video at some point will come as well. For now, there's so much written with AI and people have ghostwriters and everything. So when you show up on camera and you can be yourself, that has always been my big thing. The right people will feel drawn to you. And the people who will never end up working with you anyway, they won't like your videos. And that's fine. I mean, we all have this inherent feeling of we want everyone to like us. And there will be people who don't like them. And that's fine because you cannot be for everyone. So what we want is you to be standing out even more and attract the right people to you. And the good way to do that is to be on camera. In years, I've been, like you said, working with people in person and for videos. But then in the COVID period, no one was in person anymore and everyone was going on camera. So the issues amplified because people who were avoiding the camera before had to be on camera somehow. So that was my first idea. I should write a book for people to reach more people and help them to feel as comfortable on the camera as they would be speaking with their colleagues or whoever they speak with in person.
I read the book and I found so many nuggets of wisdom. I'm so excited to talk about the feminine presence. You've alluded to this and you have all this information in your background, but this feminine presence training actually directly ties into your work that you've been doing with confidence building and public speaking. Tell us a little bit more about the role in communication that it plays and why it's powerful.
So first of all, it's called feminine presence. It's that area of the work has like 50 different tools and exercises, and 85% of that, give or take, is also very applicable for men. There's only a little bit that is really for the feminine, and it's more in a different area that's not related to speaking. So actually, I started working with men as well because men need presence as much as the women do. When I work with women, the feminine presence is really about how can you be powerful and feminine, how you get out of your head and out of overthinking and really be yourself. But I've worked a lot with women who work in male environments. One of my clients said, when I look at the board of directors, there is one woman who is really feminine and she's like my big inspiration. And all the other women act like the men. Basically, there's a whole spectrum that everyone has, from masculine energy, neutral energy to feminine energy. In essence, for women, they feel more at ease. It is less energy taking or like stressful to be in their feminine than to be in their masculine energy. There's an exercise where you can sort of get in each of the states and you can feel for yourself. They are not aware if they are neutral. They're not aware if they are masculine or feminine. So it always starts, and you probably know this as well with yoga and all the things that you teach, that awareness is the first step. So it's really powerful to be aware for yourself and to have the tools to, for example, for a task to step into your masculine energy, but you choose to do that for a specific task, goal, time period. Generally speaking, women feel more themselves, more in flow when they are in their feminine energy. So it's really important to be more aware of that and consciously make a decision which of the energies you activate during the day.
It makes sense. And being aware is always crucial to the process, especially when it comes to communication. And then, as you're mentioning, with these different energies. So, how would one understand themselves to be in a feminine or a masculine or a neutral energy?
It helps to address multiple senses to get yourself in a state of each of these three that you want to be in at the moment. When I do this exercise, I usually do this when I work with groups, more so than when I work one-to-one with people. I always ask people, like, what colors did you pick? What outfit? How does the feminine look for you? How does the masculine look for you? And that is very different. So everyone is different. There is not one thing like, oh, do like this or walk like that or think like that, and then you have the masculine. So it will be different for everyone. And we stand still in one place, close our eyes, and we sort of picture in front of us, first of all, if I were go to a neutral state, what kind of clothes feel really neutral to me? And then you imagine putting on these clothes and really whilst you're putting these on, all the feminine and all the masculine energies going like from your fingertips and your toes, leave your body, and you're getting filled with 100% neutral energy. You fill the room around you with a color that is neutral to you. For example, for me, it's gray. For other people, it's blue or it's yellow. So you cannot say like fill the room with a gray color, because that is that's my neutral, like a very light gray is very neutral. But if you do this exercise for yourself, and you can pause this at any time or go back to this and experiment with this a little bit, you keep allowing, whilst you fill the room with this color, you keep allowing the feminine and the masculine energies to leave your body. And then you imagine a sound that you hear that is very neutral to you. And when you feel that you really have this 100% neutral energy with the clothes, with the sound, with the color around you, then you open your eyes and you start moving around the room. And just for yourself, you notice, how do I feel? How does my body feel with the other people? I also ask, like, how do you feel about the other people in the room? So just for yourself, you can ask these questions. I always ask these, like, don't answer them right away. Just for yourself, notice, like, what's going on inside me and outside me, essentially. And then you come to a standstill, and then you sort of shake it off a little bit. And then you go to the masculine and you do the same. And for some people, for example, when they imagine clothes that are really masculine, it's like a suit. So if you're a fan of Harvey Specter, like you adjust your tie and your hair is like super. And for other people, it's more like the cowboy, like with the big boots or the tool belt or like the lasso. And for them, that is the masculine thing. So that, again, it's very different for everyone. And they have the color to fill the room and the sound that they hear. Open their eyes. It's new to them or a bit hesitant, but I'm just like, go with the flow. See if you can picture this, and how can you activate, put on the clothes, and you fill the room in a color around you, and you imagine all the neutral energy and all the feminine energy leaving your body, filling it up with 100% of the masculine energy. Mm-hmm. Then you start walking around the room, and suddenly it's like, what do you notice differently? Mm-hmm. I get to this state and I feel what's going on inside me. What do I notice outside of me? Then final step, neutral energy leaves our body, masculine energy, and we fill up with 100% feminine energy. Different clothing, different color, different sound. And once we're 100% feeling the feminine energy in our body, we start moving, but in a very different way. So yeah, it's really powerful to experience and know for yourself what energy you want to be in that moment.
It's so fascinating because you and I talked about this ahead of time too. And we talked about yin and yang and how yin energy is more feminine, yang energy is more masculine. I think that it's interesting too, because I probably have a tendency to have more masculine energy because I am a manifester energy type in human design, which means I'm an initiator and I make things happen, which is very much so masculine energy. So when I think about feminine energy, I think about, for me, being a little bit more relaxed in a situation, not always trying to push forward the agenda, and just allowing things to happen.
There's no right and wrong. There is just this spectrum. I think you get a lot of things done because of this masculine energy. So it can be a good thing. But it's always good to balance things out. And specifically, when you think about goal setting, it is always good to take the yin and yang balance towards your goal setting. So have a bit of a broader perspective, like the bird's eye perspective, and really think, am I too yang or too yin in my manifesting of my goals? You're going forward, you're sort of pushing through, which can be a good thing because you get things done. But if that is all that you're doing towards your goal and you never take a step back to let the flow happen, to meditate, to be in stillness, to let things come, to trust that things come, there is an imbalance. On the other hand, if you just set your goal and then sit on your yoga mat and meditate until the goal happens, it probably will be happening, because you need to have clear steps. So just look for yourself. Do I have enough goals? Are they, well, everyone knows about the SMART, like, is the realistic, timed, but give some action to it. Am I clear on all the steps that are I need to take in order to get there? Then do I actually take these steps, or do I just write them down and just then again step back and let them happen? So it can be really good to have the yin and the yang both when it comes to your work and to reaching your goals.
This has definitely been a goal of mine to tap into the feminine energy more so. And it's funny because I was telling you that I just recorded a solo podcast, and it was all about my travel conundrums that I just had when I went to Costa Rica. Ultimately, I was in a situation where I could have tried to control or make something happen. But at that point, it just felt like would have been an enormous amount of energy to try to do all that. And I feel like that was a great lesson actually in feminine energy for me, and just letting it go and letting it happen and be okay with it, then know that I was okay. Everything would turn out and be fine. So that's feminine energy at work. And I'm so glad that I made that connection too. Thank you for that. One of the great things that you shared with me as well in relation to feminine energy, yin and yang, and how to bring this in, you have some mindset exercises that you work with your clients on. What do you recommend those mindset exercises?
I have different ones, but one that is very quick and easy, but also very tangible and powerful. I call it the magical sentence. There are so many things that we struggle with, or maybe even have limiting beliefs or objections that come up for ourselves that stand between us and the goal that we want to reach. You can take a piece of paper and write down some of the things you constantly say to yourself or get yourself thinking, especially things that if someone would say them to your best friend, you'd get really annoyed about, but you are actually saying them to yourself. So maybe you already know what these are, and I say like, hey, pause for a minute, and in 2 minutes time, you write down 10 things. Maybe it's not so much in your awareness right now. So then just have a piece of paper lying around. And when you catch yourself with these thoughts, write them down until you have like maybe 4 or 5 of these things. Or maybe you have a clear goal that you want to reach. Maybe I want to make videos for my business, or I want to make videos for LinkedIn or for Instagram. And if you have that as a goal, what thoughts and beliefs come up for you for reaching that goal? When I talk to my clients, very common ones when it comes to making videos, for example, is I don't like how I sound and look on camera. Very common. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm not a native English speaker. So there are a lot of people like, what if people don't like my accent? What if I forget what I'm going to say? Who is interested in what I have to share? All those kind of thoughts are very common, but they're also keeping us back from taking action. That can take quite some time actually and there I have tools and techniques also to sort of stop those patterns from coming up. But there's actually a quicker way to already start working on your goals whilst these are still there. So that is the magical sentence. So first we have the one thing, I don't like how I look and sound on camera. Or you can do this with any goal, but the examples I give now will be around video, just to make this clear. But you can do this for any topic or any goal. You use this same magical sentence. Then I want you to think of a really positive outcome if you were to do this. So if you were to make videos, what is a positive outcome for your clients or potential clients or for yourself? So that could be, I inspire my audience. I help my audience with ... the topic that you're talking about. Or I attract more clients to my business, or I will find a new job, or whatever the really big positive outcome is for you. If you have these 2 ingredients, you then can create your own magical sentence. And it starts with, even though, and then you enter your struggle, even though I'm afraid people don't like my accent. And then follows, I know, or I will, and then your positive outcome. Even though I don't like how I look on camera, I know I will inspire my audience. Even though I'm afraid people don't like my accent, I will attract the right people to me. People who only speak English are very much in awe of people who speak more than one language. So it's often all in our head. We think we make this a big thing, but people who are watching, they don't actually mind at all. They love what you have to share. I mean, you have a message to share with the world. You have to inspire. That is one of the things that I love about this, is have this snowball effect of positive change in the world. Because if with my inspiration, people get more on camera, get more on stages, their brilliant ideas, messages, trainings, whatever they have to share with the world, reach more people. And then they can improve their lives and their health and their fitness and their ideas and their whatever topics you are talking on. Find a new job or they get better at their job, or whatever the topic is that you help people with and that you share with people. So then that it's sort of like a snowball effect of positive change in the world. People need to hear what you have to say. So with this magical sentence, the feeling, the thought, the fear, it can still be there, but you will no longer let it stop you, because you have this strong beacon, the positive outcome. And that is what will lead you. And that is what is most important. Even though I'm afraid no one will like me, I know my message will inspire hundreds of people. Start with one and then keep saying it out loud 10 times a day, 20 times a day, until you really feel like, yeah, I do inspire my audience. So even though I don't like how I sound on camera, I just will go out there and do it, because they need to hear what I have to say.
It's so powerful. And like you said, so simple. It's just this magical sentence where you can say, even though, and enter the struggle or the limiting belief, I know, or I will, positive affirmation. And repeating it over and over, we're training our brain to believe that that is true, even though we feel we're lacking confidence or whatever it is that we're feeling in that moment. But it's so powerful. And I just love how it brings this balance. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like I was more critical myself when I was younger. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, I am going to make a mistake. And I think that's definitely something that limits me from going out and doing a lot of live presentations out on social media and going live, because I'm nervous about doing something wrong or saying something wrong. Whereas on a podcast, I can edit it. No big deal.
Very common too for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And actually in my book, I talk about the pirate technique of doing live videos, especially some do's and don'ts around making it interactive. Because if you're not interactive with a live, you might as well just record it if you're not going to take any notion of the comments of the people who are there with you. But when you make a mistake, then people will actually like you more. I mean, of course, you're not going to say 100 things wrong, but a mistake here or there, or a slip up or a mess up, it just makes you more relatable to people. And so many people are so scared to go live that they are already in awe that you even dare to press that live button and go live. There are many people not doing it. And those that are doing it know the struggle it can be, or the feeling that it takes. And there will be some negative people who will say nasty things. They will always be there. And it says more about them than it says about you. So it's good to know that they are there. But usually those are the people that are afraid to get out there themselves. They don't do any work on their own personal development. They're just we call them keyboard knights in Dutch. So they're like all going out there. But if you would meet them in person, they would never say it to your face. So I know it can be hard, because we are wired to sort of disregard 100 positive comments and keep mulling on about the one negative comment that came up that said you did it wrong or whatever it was. But it's really good to train yourself, even though I got this nasty comment from person X who loves what I do. And let it go.
Yep. And just build on that positive affirmation. So I want to just do a quick recap here. We've learned so much from you today, Elsewine. You went from fear to making this something that's accessible for so many people, real tools, real opportunities for people to learn how to soften and be open, which is that feminine energy. And then also set goals and use that magical sentence to really affirm that there is always a positive to any limiting belief that we can conjure up. We're all going to have limiting beliefs. So bringing that positive balance back in, you're really helping so many people. I will put all your information into the show notes, but how do people find you?
There's my website, elsewinacademy.online/home, where is the information about the videos more specifically, and LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is also a very good way to connect with me and message me there.
I would love to talk to you more about your LinkedIn presence, about the Pirate acronym that you use for online camera use. I know you do shadow work. I mean, there's just so much that you offer. I think that I just need to have you come back on the show sometime and we'll keep working away at some of these other topics. I really encourage the audience to go out, check out your website, check out your LinkedIn, and get connected with Elsewina. And thank you again so much for being here today and sharing with us all of your amazing knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'd love to come back to talk about other things.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Elsewina. If this episode resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on the exercises shared today and how you can integrate them into your life. Share your biggest takeaway on social media. We'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to check out Elsewina's resources for even more tools and inspiration. Let's keep building a community of empowered, confident people. See you next time.